fight, if I say a number of points, or like 3 points, would you have fought the fight any differently?
No, you know, it wasn't so much, the scorecard on my mind was still very close. Close, I mean, I always take the safety way. I mean, that's how Winky Wright and Bernard Hopkins, these guys lost close, lost fights to him because they thought they was winning, they coasted. I don't believe in that. You get prepared to fight 12 rounds, you fight the best ability. But the way that, it wasn't so much the way the score was, I could see the way the fight was going. And the fight was moving in a direction strictly for Kelly. He was picking up momentum, he was coming in, his defense was getting better, he was starting to catch up a little bit, which I could see the momentum was going. So forget about who was on the hit on those points. I knew in the next round or two where the fight was headed that direction. We were going to lose the fight.
I think a lot of us felt we were.
So I'm just looking at it. So Jermain did the best that he could. In the one round, he went back to working his jab. He boxed really beautiful. Got back into the jab, and we told him to keep that up. And it seemed like Kelly came in there smothered, and he couldn't get his jab rhythm going again. But I can see, forget about the scorecard then. That fight was going to, it was moving in Kelly's direction.
When you're backing up and a guy that punches with 2 hands is coming at you, you're in a dangerous situation. And, you know, Jermain had lost a lot of energy, threw a lot out in that second round. And then, you know, later in the fight, even though we were way ahead, when you start backing up to a guy who has heavy hands with both hands, you know, you wound up with a strong punch and a new champion.
Jermain, you're only the 3rd fighter in history to capture the true middleweight championship undefeated, and no fighter has regained the title at middleweight since Nito Benvenuti. How important would it be to you to try to be the first fighter to do that in decades?
To be honest with you, I didn't even know all that, but I mean, I just plan on coming back, just going back to the drawing board. You know, just keep training hard. I did everything right for this fight. I trained hard. Everything was right. I had my weight down, and that's just the way it happened. But I will get my belts back.
Jermain, were you surprised that you actually knocked him down?
Was I surprised that actually? I knew if I caught him that he was gonna go, but he stuck with it and came on back, man.
I think we're more surprised that he got up.
Were you surprised by his power?
Excuse me, I didn't hear you, sir.
You're surprised by his power.
He hits hard. Yes, he does. I give it to him. He got great power. I thought he was gonna roll with it, but you know, he's a lot faster than I thought too.
The first 2 rounds, Jermain came out so strong, he was throwing so many punches. Tommy was here. It looked like he was trying to channel Tommy in the Hagler fight. I mean, was that the plan?
Well, you had to get some kind of respect early in the fight. This fight was very much, we know that Kelly was going to try to come back and be a force trying to push Jermain back, so he had to get some respect. And Kelly, you know, he did get some respect from Kelly. He couldn't hit Kelly solid. I was surprised that Kelly was able to keep just enough distance with his height where he couldn't really land solid. But the second round, when he had him hurt, was really the round that I thought they could have finished him if he had thought any uppercut, any shot from underneath, because Kelly was gone, just been all over, but he was smart enough to try to stay close, to just trying to smother Jermain, and he was doing that, and Jermain was just still hitting him all over the elbows and the back of his head, but if he'd have shot any punch underneath, it would have been over, but it was just meant to be, I guess, and he survived that round, and came back to the 3rd round, as if nothing had even happened in the 2nd round. I said, well, we got problems. Not necessarily go wild, but you had to come and get some respect. You couldn't get start backing right to the ropes right away. You had to get some kind of respect. And he did make Kelly kind of respect him the first round or 2.
Emanuel, what did you tell Jermain between the 2nd and 3rd?
I told him try to get him back in trouble if he could, you know, as soon as he could, and then to try to, when you get him hurt, shoot some uppercuts. Please shoot something from underneath. The guy just bent down with his eyes closed, all but you were shooting everything all the way back of his head. Kelly came right out right away and started boxing, and just like nothing ever happened in the 2nd round.
Question to Emanuel. Are you guys going to be training at
Well, there was nothing wrong with any preparation. It was just a great fight. We're glad to be part of it. Like I said, if you're going to lose your title, lose at least one of the fights of the year or something, and then you just come back. I had Tommy Harris lost to Leonard the first fight. We learned from that experience, and they fought Barber and promoted it 8 years later, and Tommy learned from that experience and came back and fought a more controlled fight and even knocked Ray down in the 11th round this time. But we learned and you grow and go along. But it was a great fight, and we wouldn't change anything.
Manny, how does Kelly's punching power compare to some of the guys that you've seen and had over the years?
Well, he didn't hit me. But I would say this, just looking at it, I don't think he's still at much of a deficit, but the thing is, he was shooting so many shots, I just knowing the numbers game, I know sooner or later he was going to start landing them because his shots were just barely missing Jermain, and you're letting him have too much freedom, and he's a pretty good puncher. You know, not necessarily great, but he punches good enough. But the main thing, he was busy all the time, consistent, and always aware of what was going on, and he controlled the fight, and that was the main thing. He was able to get control.
Emanuel, in the 5th and 6th rounds, when Pavlik was back in Jermain Taylor in the corner, did you sense at all in your mind that perhaps maybe the middleweight championship of the world was slipping away?
Yes, well, I said it to Jermain too. I told him, I said, look, we're about to lose our title, man. It's slipping away. We got to try to pick it up a little bit. I could feel it because I could see the momentum, and I was looking at Kelly's eyes. I could see it was no give or nothing. His momentum was picking up, you know, and I could see that he was going to be a tough guy going down the stretch. But I said, we're losing our title. We're going to have to try to pick it up some.
Jermain, this is a fight that we've seen you land the most hooks. Do you feel that in retrospect, if you had toned down on that and stuff with the jab, do you think the outcome might have been different?
I feel like I should have stuck with the jab. You know, not try to throw so many hard punches. To do a lot more boxing. You know.
Was it part of your game plan to fight up going backwards and go to the back, hit into the corner and the ropes? Or?
No, not really. He was just throwing a lot of punches, and instead of slipping, I was backing up. And I made a couple mistakes.